tales of the
I'm Jeremy Greer.
And I'm Gary Butterfield.
And this is Days of Future Cast, the podcast where Gary and I destroy this world, create a new one so that we are the new world's gods. And
Ooh.
But everything's the same except Duckfeed is NPR. That makes sense? Is that a good?
Oh,
that's,
sure.
yeah.
I'll take NPR.
Cole's Twitter feed is now the only news source in the land. Is the only difference that we're making.
Well, hold up. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. Yeah, we're gods now. We're back.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and we're wrapping up the Dark Angel Saga of Uncanny X-Force.
I know it doesn't matter because nobody cares about this kind of stuff but you and I think. But the fact that this ends perfectly with our little 4-issue like schedule that we have worked out for, I mean, we could literally do anything. As we have often said, we are the gods of this podcast. We could we could just not do anything or do whatever we want. We could do 8 issues or we could do 2 issues. It doesn't matter. But whenever it just works, I love it. Yeah,
it feels good.
Yeah,
it's nice and neat. You know, I also, what I like is the cover of this. So we're, begin Rick Remender Opeña as the phenomenal art. Look at this Dr. Robotnik ass Holocaust here on the cover.
The genocide?
Or genocide, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
Yeah, why does he look, he's like real tubby for some reason. I really like it.
Why did they make that? Like, if I was looking in the mirror, I'd be like, did y'all have to go like so girthy on this? Like it extends.
He doesn't look like that. I don't know why they decided to make him like a big Mega Man, like a thing you'd fight at the end of a level, Mega Man level.
He does look a lot like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm excited. This is a really good arc. It ends, I think, really, really well. And it's just, it's super fun, like all the way through. And we keep going back to the new X-Men, like how this picks up on some of the Morrison stuff. And of course, a big part of this is the world. And I think it's like one of the most creative things that happens in X-Men comics lately, or not lately, but like this, all of this stuff with the world and the time dilation and things like that. Just, man, I love it so much. It's so good.
It feels real fresh.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the last really big fresh thing before Krakoa stuff happened, kind of the modern age, which is really out there. But I want my X-Men to be kind of trippy.
I read this stuff after this where they bring the teens back. Like I ran through that whole series. And I was just reading the one book, and by the end I was just totally fucking lost because so much stuff happens in other books. Like I just didn't understand. And I could not be like, I really liked the premise and the setup of everything, but by the end I was like, I don't care about any of this really. So I'm just going to stop. Like I'm just going to end this.
They're also, I want to say, I was really surprised to find that the internet like opinion on those teams, on X-Men Gold and X-Men Red and stuff, the Genesis era, is pretty positive. I read in a bookstore, in a Barnes & Noble, something I will do if I'm like out in an afternoon, we'll just sit in their cafe, drink a coffee and read a comic I don't feel like buying, and then not buy it. And I read the first trade of X-Men Red. It sucked. And like, I just didn't like the writing in it. I'm just
imagining
the characters and stuff were fine. The story was fine. I just didn't like I didn't think it was well written. I didn't feel like the dialogue popped enough.
I'm just imagining somebody in the coffee shop just watching you like sip a coffee and then just shake your head as you're reading a trade paperback. It's just
this comic I'm stealing is no good. I had to get my money back for this coffee because this comic that came out 6 years ago is not that great.
The occasional involuntary out of your lips that you don't even notice. You don't even notice that it's happening.
Jean Grey wouldn't do that. But no, we are far from that, luckily now. Let's get into thick genocide here with chapter 5 here, Tabula Rasa. Where are we at? What happened last time?
So last time, our team went into the Age of Apocalypse universe to get a life seed with the intention of restoring Apocalypse Archangel back into Warren Worthington. Unfortunately, when they get back home, Warren Worthington, aka Apocalypse Archangel, was waiting for him with his team of miscreants. They very quickly steal the life seed. Also, they kidnapped kinda Psylocke, and then Warren leads Genocide to Montana to show everybody what's about to happen, which he is going to remake the world. And we're
yes.
gonna at the end
the world, but
yes.
the actual the Earth.
Yes. And at the end of that genocide, our tubby boy from the cover has basically slaughtered everybody in that town, and everybody was super bummed out about it. And we're gonna pick it up almost immediately from that with Psylocke hidden away in Archangel's North Pole hideaway. I just really, at some point I want like a comic book to be like for like someone just to find this and be like, oh, this is convenient.
like some scientists.
Yeah, exactly.
We're getting some unusual readings from the North Pole, this area that we look at exclusively for science.
We don't think about it, but the crackpots that argue for alternative history stuff on Joe Rogan probably are just people finding old X-Men hideouts. Like that's all that this
The Australia had mutant tech.
Yeah.
The Psylocke, she's kind of a prisoner and kind of not. She stayed behind because she's going to try to fix Warren, and she's in her room here when the new plague, new pestilence, comes in, and is basically trying to talk her up. Like, you're actually really lucky. Like this is a beautiful dream. This is very good, and you're really lucky that he loves you, and he wants you to be prosperous. Like he's chosen you. And Psylocke's basically, you sound like fucking crazy. So I know something awful is happening. And it has. This hero, like Archangel, just killed 3,000 innocent people.
Yep. And he did that so that, because Dark Beast has a plan. So we cut back over to Montana. They have wiped the table clean. Isn't that what tabula rasa means? Like a clean slate?
Yeah, he's clean slate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Dark Beast is going to put his plan together. Fortunately, at some point in this comic book, one of my favorite things happen, which is Archangel looks over at Beast and says, "Explain to me what's happening," which gives us the narrative device for him to explain it to us because it doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever.
Archangel does not know.
I love that Apocalypse Archangel is like, so walk me through my plan again.
It starts the sub thread of Holocaust or genocide. I can't remember what his name is. The little guy. Who's round on the cover calling Dark Beast Mr. McCoy instead of Doctor. It's like it works. So basically the plan is they're opening the world. They're using a little bit of the life seed inside it in order to, within this small town, go through evolution. Like basically they want to skip the age of apocalypse. They're going to kill everybody in the town. They're not going to have the age of apocalypse where people are starving and fighting and there are mass calls and everything. They kill everybody at once and then they raise a new civilization. Yeah. From scratch. And he basically explains it like, this is going to be, we're going to go through, this many ages, we're going to get this, these things are going to evolve into these things, are going to evolve into these things, etc.
I love the idea of them going into the world and basically hanging out, and then using the time manipulation engines to like extend a little bit out of the world to like fast forward time through all of this stuff. But inside the world, I just love this language that they're in a chamber protected by a membrane of true time. And it's filled with birds that consume any artificial time that seeps in.
Yeah. If you brought in a phone with anytime minutes, the birds would just go on a fucking feeding frenzy.
I'm sorry. Is your cell phone plan for 2003? Gimme, yum, yum.
Anytime minutes are the ultimate treat for time devouring birds. While this is happening, Pestilence is still trying to convince Psylocke to go along with it. And she's like, obedience is not a negative attribute. Like in any relationship, you have to have one dominant and one submissive. There's strength in knowing your place. And Psylocke, I like this. Like, on behalf of all women, thank you for your hard work, and contribution to feminism. And just, kicks her in the face. And then as Pestilence vomits a bunch of bugs on her, she sticks an umbrella in her mouth.
Yeah, very good. Very good look.
Great. Yeah. Take that.
She runs to escape, and then she is confronted by the worst blob. The blob.
This is our Age of Apocalypse blob.
Yeah, he is just a horrifying dude. He's got big old fat nipples and big old fat nipple rings to go with him. You just hate to see this dude anytime, anywhere.
He's really huge, but he does seem like a guy that is real that you would run into. I don't know.
Where?
Like there's always like a big spiky dude who's like,
where are you going?
Big fat dude who really leans into it.
I haven't been to a restaurant since 2019, Gary. Where are you going? Where are you seeing this guy?
Arby's.
Oh no.
No, it reminds me a little bit of the new big guy they have for Jackass that's in Jackass Forever.
Oh, okay.
Except like this guy, that guy's not evil. He's just having fun and doing Jackass stuff. This is like an evil version of him.
Yes. So we get to the plan. He smashes Psylocke pretty good. We go through all of our years of history. There's some really cool, like, awesome science fiction stuff where this culture within the radius of the time manipulation engine of the radius of the world, or this culture develops. A secondary culture develops. It's only exists at nighttime. It takes over the first one, and then we get
it's underground.
Oh, an underground.
Yeah, because it's a sphere. Yeah, it goes underground as well.
And then an aquatic species, like sentient tapeworms, rise from the deep waters and soon dominate all. And they begin to worship the sun because it was the sun that saved them. Like, it's just like all of this cool. Like, none of this is X-Men shit, but it's X-Men shit exactly the X-Men shit that I want. If that makes sense.
It's real neat because it just the idea of just watching the entirety of history. In a couple hours is real fun. His idea. And it's very striking. Like Warren's like, it's beautiful, like this is really beautiful. And Beast is like, imagine, how much more beautiful it'd be with your own eyes. Let's go take a look. Yep. Because this is a test run. They're going to do this to the world.
Yes.
Is the idea. We go back to our loser squad, who we have their kind of ragtag team of remainders, which is Phantom X, Deadpool, and Deathlock. And they're in Eva, flying away, trying to figure out what to do. Like, basically, this is the team without leaders. Like, all of the people with experience who are not kind of the comic relief side characters are gone.
Yeah.
Right now.
Wolverine has
been horribly burned. Yeah. Half his body burned off, and he's recovering in the back.
So we learned that Phantom Ox has a sentient bullet. And this is kind of his... You can immediately tell this is his plan on how to take care of Archangel Apocalypse. Deathlock and Deadpool have a bunch of like conversations to and around each other, and then they find this new space that they have that Apocalypse has created, and are just kind of looking down and like fly into it, and then realizing what all has gone on. And of course, Deadpool has to comment of like, that cat has a green butthole, because Deadpool's going to Deadpool.
Yeah, I like some of the Deadpool dialogue here. Again, this is a good Deadpool because he's kind of down. You end up getting Phantom X kind of guilt tripping himself, like, oh, Warren used the world to create this and killed thousands of people. It's my fault. And Deadpool just being like, we all know he's lost his mind. It's not on you.
Yeah.
Stop this pity party, you idiot. Like, weird, Deadpool being this version that's more restrained and less wacky, ending up being actually kind of wise.
Yes.
During this.
This is interrupted by none other than Apocalypse Archangel himself, who flies down, slices up Deadpool, and Phantom X runs towards Archangel and tackles him off of a cliff. Having realized that he, has destroyed these thousands of people in this town to do this experiment. Like, there's Phantom X is basically, not that he ever was, but now he is fully on like, can't save Warren. Like, this dude is too bad.
He's a mass murderer. Yeah. They fall down, and there's Death and Famine show up on Death's magic carpet again here. And there's kind of a confusing thing that's happening here. It took me, when I first read this, it took me a couple reads to figure out what's happening. Deathlock's, so Deathlock is an AI that controls the corpse of like a maniac, basically. Like those bad copies of RoboCop, that when they just used people from insane asylums and shit. The AI is in control, but he gives consciousness over to his psychopath self. And he's basically having an internal argument about it, about the purpose, like the peaceful AI that only wants love, giving control back to the psychopath for efficacy.
Because he says that he is, because he has figured out that like, he is averse to violence, right? That's what he says. Like, I'm averse to violence. There's, love is this thing that I understand that my host body cannot. So I'm going to turn control over to him, so he can just go fucking crazy on these horsemen.
You go ham on these motherfuckers, and he does it as Deadpool is getting starved to death. Yeah, again by famine, which it'd suck to just keep continuously fighting famine. Like, this is like the 4th or 5th time this has happened to Deadpool.
It's really funny to me though. I mean, like, it's just it's a bit that keeps coming up, and I kind of dig it.
It's such a cool power again. So we're cutting back and forth between these two fights between Deathlock and Death and Warren and Phantom X. And Death cannot get the upper hand on Deathlock. He tries to put diseases in him, and Deathlock's already dead. And he tries to fight him with his sword, and he's not as good. And Deathlock beheads him.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Final Horseman, Death.
See you later.
Yep.
Deal with you at a later time. Meanwhile, Apocalypse has got the upper hand on Phantom X. Phantom X fires his bullet, and it, for all the world, looks like it's going to miss. But this is apparently a bullet that cannot miss, and comes in and
Cool screaming face.
Yeah, I love it, dude.
Oh,
I feel like there's some
good.
background on these sentient bullets that I'm not picking up on that I don't really care about. So
when we get to the 4th issue of this, there's some background. I mean, I'm going to call it out. It's going to happen in this episode, but just put that in your pocket.
okay.
Some like, I wish there was background for this thing that I don't think there is. There's an amazing detail.
The bullet swings back around and thwangs Archangel Apocalypse in the head, and that actually hurts him. But Phantom X was expecting it to kill him, and no, that's not happening. So enter Genocide, who is going to take over for Archangel, and Archangel leaves, and it's like, hey, I got to get out of here because you hurt me a little bit, basically.
Yep. And Phantom X runs.
Mm-hmm.
He runs. He sees Deadpool sitting around eating more snacks because he keeps doing it. And he's like, "Yeah, way to kill Archangel." And he said, "What did you do today?" He's like, "Oh no, we killed Death and we caught Famine." And Deathlock is in there torturing Famine.
Yes.
Who's this old Confederate soldier who's a spy. You'll tell me where they've gone. He's like, "I ain't willing to help you, son." He's like, "I don't expect you to do it willingly." These let the psychopath loose. We cut over to Archangel, who is kind of brooding a little bit because Death died. He's losing a little ground here. Beast says, like, you're gonna have to pick a new one, but for now, let's continue.
Mm-hmm.
Archangel asks Beast, the Celestials that are here, do they know what we're trying to do? And Beast says, no. We hid it from them. We went to another dimension to get the life seed, but they're going to approve of our results.
Yeah.
And they basically have to go into the Dreaming Celestial and clear it. What they're doing.
This is also a time in X-Men history where there's just a celestial just hanging out in San Francisco. It's just sitting there dreaming, and that's all it does, which is fun.
Inside the Celestial, there are trading cards for other apocalypses. So there's En Sabanur, but then there's a guy in the middle who looks like, for all the world, like his name is Goodwill,
mm-hmm.
and then Kelby Tack.
Well, I love Kelby Tack, man. I love that dude. Shaves.
Who's Kelby Tack?
I don't know. Tell me more. Tell me more about Kelby Tack.
Yeah. I like the way this is done. Like, we can't understand the Celestial language,
mm-hmm.
And it's yes, I do serve evolution. The Death Seed will empower. Like, he's just reassuring the Celestial to get permission to do what he's doing, which the Celestials are ultimately on board with.
Yes, because they're all they're trying to do is remake this world. That's their ultimate goal.
Yeah.
We go back over to the losers crew, as you called them earlier. Deathlock has finished and gotten all of the information that he needed out of Famine, and who has like an eye hanging out of a skull, and looks like he got his gums cut up. Like, it looks pretty vicious. But now they know the secret headquarters is in the North Pole, so it's off to visit Santa.
Yep, we have to do this, or the whole planet's gonna die. We cut to Archangel. He's talking about he has the death seed now. The Celestial gave it to him, so he gets to make a death. And he's like, "There's only one candidate for this." And we cut over to Psylocke.
Yep.
He's trying to have his cake and eat it too. Whereas the cake is wife.
His cake is his girlfriend, and
cake is girlfriend cake and wife cake.
Yes.
And then we go over to Uncanny X-Force 16 here. Cover with they tastefully gave Age of Apocalypse Blob a shirt for the cover.
Yes,
which I appreciate.
No such luck in the mains comics. We just get to see that he's full nipples out in the main comic.
Yeah, absolutely nipples, pierced nipples, big nipples,
mm-hmm.
like
big nipples,
nipples.
Nipples. Everybody.
Yeah,
we see Apocalypse as he wakes up beside a sleeping pestilence, but he's in Warren's form, and the narration says like his former body has been dreaming again, and he when he dreams, he takes over his form and turns back into Warren Worthington as a reminder of who he once was.
Yeah.
A lovely bird with clipped wings.
Yeah, this is important. Like, this is going to come up later, but Psylocke doesn't want him. It's spoilers, but it's spoilers for something we're going to say in 40 minutes, so who cares? He just got her Brigante.
Yeah.
I can't imagine having sex with a woman who could vomit bugs, like whose jaw could stretch like that and vomit bugs.
Tell me more.
You know?
Why don't you describe it?
Well, I
in
just
detail?
say, I just say so slowly. Okay, I just feel like as I was slowly mounting the, like, no, I just mean that like there's a lot of trust involved. Like if you're having sex now, you trust the person isn't going to like poke you in the eye or stab you in the back or something. Like you're still vulnerable. But if all they'd have to do is open their mouth and flood out insects onto you, I don't know. That would be tough for me.
she's having sex with a purple guy with like metal, super sharp wings, and I would expect like every time he comes, like those wings just like spit those little.
He probably does shoot a bunch of little tendrils.
Like those bedrooms are ruined, is what I'm saying. Like they have to have like
flame on. Yeah, just at the moment of climax, it's very hard not to Hulk out.
Absolutely, yeah.
But that would also for her, if he's a generous lover, like I imagine when she climaxes, it's bug time.
Sure, yeah,
that's no good.
Maybe it's a combined effort. Maybe it's we have to come at the same time so that my blades kill your bugs, right? Like we have to
simultaneous. Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
The simultaneous X.
That's what you come to Days of Future Cast for, everybody. Us just theorizing about superhero, supervillain sex. What is sex with powers?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. What is it? What is it like? He comes out, here, and he's thinking there's an internal monologue that he has. Like there's no love. Like basically he just cheated on Psylocke.
Yes.
Having these feelings about that, talking himself into that being okay, while these priests of Akaba are giving a speech to the gathered worshippers. You may doubt what he's going to do, but he's going to remake a new world, and we're going to be like gods, the way that the Norse gods were to the Vikings. Just think of this as wiping off the Neanderthals, basically giving them a pep talk as our loser crew comes up and kills them.
Yep. Meanwhile, back on Eva, Famine has hopped his way over to where Wolverine is, and Eva is like talking to him, like, "Hey, I see that you're awake," but Famine's got a couple of tricks up his sleeve. Now he's doing some finger drumming. Huge in the hip hop industry right now is finger drumming, man. Like
absolutely
huge in the hip hop. Yeah. Very glad to see this representation. And he is able to infect Eva with a auditory cancer, assuming that because she has a point of view, because she was talking, that she was alive enough to do that, sets her on fire, and then leaves Wolverine to burn alive as he heads his way to the North Pole.
Yep. Yeah. All with his eye hanging out. Pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
It seems like it's the end for Wolverine. We cut over to Archangel, and he's like, "Hey," he checks in with Psylocke, who's in a cell. You had the outbreak yesterday. You forced my hand, when she beat up Pestilence. I want to show you something. Play nice. And she says, "I'll play nice as long as I still feel like there's hope. Like the second that there's no hope to save you, I'm going to kill you."
Yes. Meanwhile, our loser team is going to split up. One of them, Deathlock, is going to go into the world, or he's going to go demolish the world before it can be used to destroy our Earth, while Deadpool and Phantom X climb this wall to go kill Archangel. And kind of a last minute thing that doesn't seem like it's going to work whatsoever. Like their plan is just to get there, which is not a huge plan.
They're outgunned.
Yeah.
They know it. So they're making their way there, doing some jokey jokes as this is happening, until Age of Apocalypse Blob lands on Phantom X with his butt. He ground pounds him like a Mario or like a Wario might do. And Deadpool starts making jokes about him keystering dudes against their will. And it's everyone's in on it. He's just like, "Oh man, is he under you or is in your ass?" And Bob's like, "Let's just say he's having a bad time." And it's real like, they're all entertaining this idea that somebody just got bodily inserted into the Blob's ass here.
Yes. It's very funny and very gross, and I just like the fact that they just lead into it like, "Yep, this absolutely happened." Like, because like the Blob is a big dude, but is his asshole big enough to put Phantomox in? And the answer is yes, absolutely it is.
Yeah. It's the biggest. It's as big as they come. And the angrier he gets, the bigger it gets. He's like the Hulk of girth, of diameter. He's gonna eat Deadpool. Deadpool stabs him in the tongue, which just buys him a little bit of time. We see Famine up on the ledge above, and we think, "Oh shit, he's gonna come and get Deadpool again." But he actually plays and melts the Blob.
Yes.
And great visual just like the Blob starving to death and getting all of these, this excess skin.
Yeah.
Essentially melting.
Like my uncle when he got that surgery, that stomach surgery to get thin. And I had a bunch of skin around, which was disconcerting.
Yep.
Yeah, but this is Wolverine. Wolverine has managed to the fire kicked him awake, and he has managed to subdue Famine and make Famine do this stuff for him. And Famine says he promised that you wouldn't kill me, and he said, I did, and I won't. And he cuts off Famine's hands, so he can't do no more drumming anymore.
Yeah, no eye, no hands. He's getting off pretty rough.
Yeah,
pretty rough stuff. Famine. We cut over to Archangel and Psylocke, and Psylocke's trying to get through to him. I still love you. And Warren Worthington's like, your love protected Archangel, the Archangel, the apocalypse for me, and allowed it to live. Does that make you feel bad? Like your love is what allowed me to thrive, and have this happen. This is your fault. She says it's love that'll bring you back. And he's like, you sound like Xavier. Like, that guy's an idiot. He's ignored and abandoned by his children. Once they face the harsh difficulties that he did not prepare them for, they abandoned him.
Yep.
And basically he says this, and it just sounds like mind games, but then he brings it in. He's like, says it's true. Like, no, you kill people. We kill people in X-Force. Every time we murdered somebody, that helped me take control. This whole idea, this lowercase a apocalypse is going to happen is because of X-Force.
Yes.
Putting somebody unstable like Archangel, who has this presence in him, in a kill squad was a monumentally bad idea.
Which is interesting.
And they shouldn't have done it.
We're issue 15 or 16? And they're underlining the fact that this whole book's premise is probably a bad idea. Like, it's just really fun.
They didn't know. Yeah, they thought it was like, we're going to go kill some Reavers. It's going to be great. No, this shit happens.
Hey, but what do you need that life seed for? We're going to deal with that later. Meanwhile, Phantom X climbs out of the just ball of skin that is Apocalypse Blob, and then dives into the cooling, refreshing waters of the North Pole and screams unclean, which has to be a reference to the League and what's his name's character from that show who screams unclean a lot. But
oh yeah, probably. I can't remember the name of the guy.
You know who I'm talking about?
I've only seen the first season of that show.
I mean, it's gonna bug me that I can't think of his name. Nick Kroll. There you go.
Okay. Yeah. The Wolverine's gonna go take care of Archangel. Here, he says, "Hey, you go, take care of the world." So he puts those two on the world team. He's gonna take them. We go back to the presentation that Archangel's doing to the Akaba worshippers. Basically, they're going to make a new death, and they're going to start this thing when Old Famine comes out. Basically, what are you doing to my son? Call it off. You're not going to turn him into a monster. Keep in mind, this was the famine, our little apocalypse, or this is the famine that has genocide, rather.
Yes.
Genocide, Holocaust, gave birth to him. And Archangel just chops her in half. So goodbye.
See you later.
Goodbye, Old Famine as well.
Don't need that person at all. Just literally chops her in half. And this is kind of the moment, I think, that Betsy Braddock, that Psylocke figures out, like, oh, there is no Warren Worthington left in this dude. Like, this was a mistake, because he's just going forward. As Phantom X has this thing, like this idea of this was just the worst thing that could ever possibly happen to me today. Guess what? We have a new unfortunate time, because the Iceman / Robert Drake from Apocalypse universe has come over here, and he is in his element, as you might imagine. So he can do all kinds of crazy cool ice stuff. If there's one complaint I have, I think, about this finale over 4 issues, is that, like, there is a lot of fighting. Like, this goes on for a while.
The whole saga, the Dark Angel Saga, is really long. Like, the way that just sitting down to read it in a row is pretty painless, I think. If I think back, though, if I were collecting in comics and were reading over the course of a year, I'd be ready for it to be done.
Yes.
And it's better quality. That's something that happens with any kind of storyline that's over 6 issues, I think, for me. And it's better quality than some of, like, the rise and fall of the Shi'ar Empire or some shit. Like there's Ed Brubaker X-Men stuff that I got way more bored by, that went on for a long time. This is better than that, but it's still a little bit too much.
Yeah, and
You know.
and like who knows? Like they could have been asked to be like, no, we need this to be a 9-issue arc or whatever. Like this is what we want. This
Yeah.
Marvel needs this to happen, so you need to fill in your story around this.
Well, he had to time it for Regenesis.
Yeah,
like the end of this, the issue after this is that the big relaunch with everything. One of the things I've read before is that one of the reasons why Rick Remender is not always considered like in the top tier of like Marvel writers is kind of luck based. Is getting interrupted by crossovers constantly, and you can absolutely see it. You know, I mentioned in the green room, like I've been reading Secret Avengers, Rick Remender's Secret Avengers, which we read 3 issues of for Avengers versus X-Men. That comes out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah,
like he's in the middle of a story that's cool, and he's building character shit, and then he has to add like Thor to his team and go deal with Marvel and Phoenix shit for 3 issues, and then just goes right back to the story he was telling.
Yeah.
Like, what a pain in the ass, you know? And that's a huge complaint, very valid complaint people have about American comics, right? Like, it is a weakness of the form that there is this unified front that the company has to put out. So, like, no matter what you're doing, whatever your plans are, we're in Civil War time, so it'd be weird if your characters didn't talk about Civil War.
Yes.
Oh shit, we're in Civil War 2 time.
Say what you want about Berserk,
you know?
but Naruto never showed up in that comic. I'm just saying.
Yeah, like it's a thing that like people, you know, really do like about manga more than, and it's a big advantage. Like I prefer American comics to manga. I like both, but the that is undeniable like win for manga.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned this earlier, reading the all new X-Men with the teens from the 60s or whatever. Like that got. Like I was just having a good time reading about these characters, and then so much of it got split off into other books and things that I'd, even with the literal Marvel library at my fingertips in a fucking tablet form. Like I was just like, I'm not worth this effort. Like I'm just done. Like I'll just stop reading at that point.
It gets annoying. Like I still read comics. It doesn't ruin them for me. It's just a bummer.
Yeah. So, it definitely confirms my belief that like staying 2 years behind comics is usually the best way to consume comic books.
Dude, 2 years behind everything.
Yeah.
Like imagine being up to date with something. What a miserable experience. Mm-hmm. Like it is so much better to play games like after they've come out. Mm-hmm. Like after the dust have settled and they've fixed them. Like we obviously do Bonfireside Chat and stuff. We're releasing a preview episode. We're putting some of our Patreon stuff out on the public feed for 2023 just to kind of, advertise basically. Mm-hmm. And we're doing putting out the Stormvale episodes, the 2 on that Legacy Dungeon. And we're just like, we had to do a caveat where it's like, hey, we recorded this, it was patch 1. So some of the stuff we talk about might not be true now, like it's going to change. Obviously we have to do Bonfireside Chat concurrently with the game, but it would like when we did the Demon Souls season, for example, it was stronger because that was no longer a moving target.
Exactly.
Like it had its history.
And then they remastered it.
Then they remastered it. So we had to do it again anyway. It's all, just a continuous thing of having things packaged and repackaged for us, the same things over and over until we die.
Back to the comic book where Robert Drake has showed up from a different dimension. Yeah. If y'all don't remember, Apocalypse Universe, Robert Drake is like super duper powerful. Like he has learned to embrace his mutant powers in a way that our Robert Drake has not.
And he's not a villain. He is still a good guy in the Age of Apocalypse comics. The idea here is that he is being offered by Archangel like a place in the new regime. Mm-hmm. And this, at first it seems a little shitty, that this is happening, but the desperation I think gets sold pretty well. Like I just want to have a good fucking life for once. Yeah. It's been hell. You took our life seed from this. We gave it to you. For when they went to the Age of Apocalypse, they were going to have 2 life seeds, one to fight their dark evil Wolverine that they had, and one for this Archangel, and they gave it to this one. Yep. So their world is still hopeless, is still in this thing. And he's like, I want out, fuck that shit. All Archangel says I have to do to have a place in his new world is kill you guys. So I'm going to do it.
Yeah. So he is technically like betrayed the X-Men standard, but also like who wants to live in Apocalypse world versus like coming to be the governor of New California or whatever he's going to call it.
Yeah. You kind of get it. Like these weird little lizard men, these tapeworm people that are gonna. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Wolverine reestablishes psychic contact with Psylocke, who has once again just realized that there's no Warren Worthington left. She grabs the gun that Old Famine left and tries to shoot Archangel, but he dodges the bullet. And this is kind of what Archangel has been waiting for. He wanted to see her lose her humanity or lose her hope and become the warrior I was waiting for. When I first read that, I thought he said the warrior wife, and I was like, "Can you calm down? It's just a little too horny. I don't like that."
Warrior wife. We get back to we cut over to Dark Beast and Genocide, and we figure out why Famine was trying to stop him. The idea is he's going to plug into his amplifier in the world, and it's going to burn him out.
Yes,
basically, he's going to kill everybody on Earth. Famine didn't sign up for that.
And we do get occasional panels of weapon. Is this weapon?
This is Ultimax or Ultima.
Okay. I thought this was one of the ultimate weapons from.
He's weapon 15, I think.
From New
or something like that.
Yeah.
He's also Ultimo or Ultima.
And this is the robot / sentient organism that Phantom X has left in charge of Baby Apocalypse, which nobody knows about at this point. This is still a secret that they did not actually kill Baby Apocalypse.
Yeah. We cut over to the fight with Deadpool and Iceman is basically just absolutely destroying Deadpool because he's one of those he's an Omega level mutant.
Mm-hmm.
Like Iceman with his full potential is ridiculous. Yes. And he is in the North Pole.
Yes.
So there's plenty of moisture and plenty of cold. He freezes and destroys Deadpool, smashes him into a million pieces.
This could look cooler, I think. Like at first I didn't quite understand because then I read the dialogue. It was like, oh, he's in a bunch of little pieces. And I actually had to scroll back and be like, oh, that's what happened.
The actual shatter could look cooler. I love the gigantic Iceman.
Yes. Yeah, that looks very cool.
There. That looks really cool. But yeah, the actual moment of impact is not very zoomed in on for some reason. It's framed a little weird.
We go over to Archangel, who is carrying a knocked out Psylocke to an altar, which, that's just kind of like the thing. That's a cool thing to do with girls, is to knock them out and take them to an altar. I mean, that's just, that was kind of like my, it's junior prom
good first
for
date
me.
location.
So I don't know.
Altar.
About you. It was Olive Garden, altar, dance, pictures. We're done. Wrapped it up. Home by 11.
This is our bleak moment before the heroes start getting back.
Yes.
Iceman is about to kill Phantom X as well. And Phantom X is running. He's going through this thing. He's like, my second brain pops in and tells me the mistakes I've made. Like, one, I probably should have stayed in the world. Never got out. I would not got wrapped up with the X-Men. Two, I got this huge crush on Psylocke and it made me go do this stupid thing that we can't win. Maybe I should just leave. This time I listen. And he jumps down onto Eva and Eva says, hey, should we fight back? And he goes, no, just get out of here.
Yep.
Looks like he's leaving.
Yes. Deathlok is about to kill Dark Beast when War comes out of nowhere, smashes him, and of course, when War smashes you, you turn into one of War's little puppets, basically. And this affects him because presumably the human / dead / psychotic host body for Deathlok is in control. So War now has control over Deathlok.
Yes. Yeah. Iceman finds Wolverine scaling up the wall, trying to get up to Archangel. He says, you don't get to ruin this for me. Basically lays out why he's broken bad.
Yeah.
Like I'm owed some luck.
Meanwhile, Archangel is continuing along his plan of just being a real creepy BF by taking some of Psylocke's clothes off and stabbing her with the giant death seed. Just still very creepy. And this is when Genocide plugs into the world, and we see Phantom X like head in hands as he's flying away from this.
He has his mask off.
And his mask
which
is off.
He never does. Yeah. That it looks like all hope is lost.
Yes.
And if you look at the cover of the next issue, which is in the preview, it really does look like that. As we have Archangel with his, titty wife, his death wife,
his
Psylocke, which I love. They draw attention.
I do
to
too. Yeah, because it is an extremely hot and horny outfit. And I love it. Like I think that this is very, very goth, not very goth, but very like teenage angsty kind of style. And I really love that they leaned into that. But it's just very funny that Phantom X like comments on it in the next one. But yeah, I love this cover overall. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's great. If you had to make a lady Archangel, it would look like this.
Yeah.
100%.
The way from the side that like her huge helm looks like one of his wings and everything. Just very good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
super good. So it seems like all hope is lost again. We start off with a flashback here of Archangel talking to Professor X way back in the 60s. And he's like, it's the bazooka, sir. It's making me look like a goon. And that's 100% true. For people who maybe don't know this, in the early X-Men, Archangel just had a bazooka.
Yeah, yeah. That was his.
Because they need to give him something to do.
And when he would use his one shot of the bazooka and he would run out of ammunition, then he would just pick up a rock and throw it and drop it on somebody. Like it was.
Sometimes he'd throw the bazooka. They had to train him to stop doing that. You know, it made sense at the time. And Professor X here like lays out, he's like, yeah, you're not actually that. It's not a very impressive mutation, you know. But he says, no, you as a person is why I chose you. You have an inherent courage, and people are going to need it. You know, I promise you're going to leave your mark on the world. And we cut over to like the dark reflection of that. He's left his mark on the world by creating Demon Death Psylocke.
Meanwhile, Wolverine is trying to take on giant Robert Drake and just not winning. Like he's trying to chop like ice off. Drake had said earlier, I think in the last issue, that it's impossible to kill him because they don't know where his consciousness is. So like nothing that Wolverine is doing will have any kind of effect because this is all just like Iceman puppets at this point. Yeah.
Dr. McCoy is convincing Genocide that people are not going to be hurt. You know, after he sends his fire into the sky, it's going to set all the air in the atmosphere on fire and fire will rain down. They won't even know what's coming. You know, there he's trying to explain it to him. Wolverine, you know, says basically, I'm just using you as a stepladder. Like I am not trying to fight you. I'm just trying to get away. And Iceman's like, you can't get away from me because I'm everywhere. You know, I'm going to kill you. And just as it seems like all hope is lost, who comes in but the Age of Apocalypse X-Men?
So we've got Nightcrawler, we've got Jean Grey, the Phoenix, we've got Sabretooth, and Sabretooth has brought his pet Wildchild. And of course, the best thing to bring to an Iceman fight is Sunspot. Sorry. What
a good use. It's Sunfire.
It is Sunfire. Okay.
Sunspot is is the New Mutant. It's he does have that big spot on his head though. What a good use for the Age of Apocalypse X-Men.
Yes.
You know, to just like have them come in here and like, again, spoiler for something we're going to say in 10 minutes, a bunch of them die during this. What a good way to like get a little pathos, you know, and raise some stakes without killing. Like contrast this with the New Mutants where people are constantly dying. Yeah. When we were reading that during Extinction or whatever the thing is, the thing with Hope. Why is the name escaping me? That last big crossover we did. And they're just killing people for no reason. This, you know, allows you to use kind of some of that power and narrative, focus without being cheap.
Yeah. Because presumably, like Age of Apocalypse was fairly popular, right? Like I think it was a big event. Yeah. People had affection for these characters. We revisited them and got even like a modern take on them just recently, and now they're back to like save the day, and it feels really, really good. And it doesn't even feel like Deus Ex Machina that much because we thought that Phantom X was leaving, but actually he went to go get Gateway to recruit these people to help him, which is maybe a little hand wavy for like 5 minutes. It definitely feels like. It feels like
it happened quick.
It feels like what's her name showing up on the dragon to save Jon Snow, but but also I don't care because it's a comic book and it's not like season 7 of a long running, very serious fantasy TV show. So I'm not mad about it.
It's a comic book where people can teleport.
Yeah, across dimensions,
as opposed to a fantasy series where people can categorically not teleport.
Yeah, that was not in the original fiction.
Yeah, I love Sunfire just flying through the middle of Iceman.
Yes,
like cutting one of his giants in half. You know, and Nightcrawler basically, takes care of it. Like he's like, listen, we've been briefed. We know what we need to do. He basically just shows why he's like such a powerful and like badass X-Man. Goes up to Genocide, pulls off his helmet, teleports off with his helmet, which is what's keeping him in control, makes him explode here and lose all of his energy. It just goes wild, and then goes and grabs Psylocke and gets her away from Archangel.
Well, I love and the one thing that you forgot is he teleports up, grabs Genocide, pulls him down to and then takes the helmet off, pulls him down to where Archangel is. So it's like a 3-step plan, just boof 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 or bamf bamf bamf, and it's fucking great. Like it's like you said, you can absolutely tell why this dude is so great. And it works. Like he did like fucking
Add
Genocide.
Him to Midnight Suns.
Yes, put him in Midnight Suns. Why is Nightcrawler not in Midnight Suns? He would fit so well.
Because Magic is and kind of does some of the same stuff. But Nightcrawler would be great.
Yeah. I can definitely. They probably like fold a lot because all those limbo cards and things, which I ended up not using very much. They're so good. Yeah, a limbo build's really powerful with her.
Kizane was asking at some point. Me and Jeremy have both played Midnight Suns, and we're going to talk about it at some point.
Yeah. Somewhere we will put that audio on out there. I just got the perk where she automatically generates limbo cards when you push somebody through them. So I might like redo some of my cards and redo that deck for her just to see if I can make it work.
Do you have the card that allows you to add passive damage when everyone goes through a portal?
I just got that. Like that was one of my. I think that's like either an epic or a rare card that I just got.
So that seems like it sucks because in Space version, it costs you a card play, like you're setting up for later. Mm-hmm. But the upgraded version allows you to make a portal when you do it.
Oh, perfect.
And that makes it work really well. Yeah, so just having her do like 4 pushes and 4 portal moves is really strong.
Okay. Well, I made. So I know we were way off subject, but you said 4 pushes. I've only been able to do like 1 move push per turn. Like even if I have multiple moves, I can just position, but I can't do multiple like shoves.
Yeah, you only get 1 shove per turn. I mean 4 cards that push.
4 cards that do dieback. Okay,
like so the 2 quick pushes and then the 2 forceful.
Yeah. I just got the kick card for her, and I love the art on it with just her foot out at a 45-degree angle. Kick.
Yeah. Good game, everybody. Don't listen to people being babies about it. It's a very fun tactics game.
They bring Betsy back. Nightcrawler brings Betsy back to Phantom X. Meanwhile, Archangel is having to put the helmet back on Genocide, and it barely works. Like you could tell, like they get out of that just by a hair's breadth.
Yep. And here is where Archangel, or Phantom X says, "Oh, you love to have a wardrobe change." She says, "I wear the skin of death, a servant of the celestial will." And he goes, "Who knew the celestial's fashion taste ran so assy?" Great line.
Good line.
Here. Again, really, these nice little touches. I love Genocide apologizing like a little kid. Mm-hmm. Like he's like, "I'm really sorry, the devil came out of nowhere.
I'm trying. Yeah.
I'm trying." It's very sweet. Archangel goes to go clean house, basically. Like I had to take care of this myself.
Yep.
We're in the end game.
And it's Age of Apocalypse, X-Men team plus our Wolverine versus Archangel Apocalypse. And it goes pretty quick. The first big thing that happens is Sunfire gets kicked out, and Robert Drake, Iceman, like slams him in between his hands, which is very good.
Hold on to him while I go take care of this.
Yep.
Archangel tries to fly away when the Nightcrawler teleports the rest of the X-Men, the Blade Squad. So we finally get Wolverine, Sabretooth, and Wildchild together. Finally. I think Wildchild might have gotten chopped in half before this. But it's the Stabby crew.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're hurting Archangel, but Archangel obviously super powerful now. While Phantom X is trying to talk Psylocke down, basically saying, she's talking about evolution, humanity is a stagnant failure. And he's like, yeah, but I enjoy stealing their art and betting their maidens. Like we're more than evolution. Mm-hmm. We're not just replicating and improving. Love transcends those things.
Once again, bringing it back to the theme of love, right? Like even with the Deathlight conversation, even with Archangel, like it comes back to like what separates us out from monsters.
Yep. It doesn't seem to work here. She grabs her knife and slashes his throat. And he starts falling to die, getting through to Psylocke, the part of her that's still there. She has a, "Oh, what have I done?" moment. And this is where Jean Grey pops in and says, "Oh, you've lowered your defenses."
Yeah. That's her eyes.
And we go into her mindscape.
This is so cool.
This is really good.
Just this moment where we get brought into like a Hellfire Club. This moment was alluded to earlier. Archangel says, talks about the moment that Warren and Psylocke met, like something like a mistake or like a casual thing at the Hellfire Club. And then we see this played out where Warren Worthington's parents have died. He's showing up here as kind of just to keep the tradition alive more than anything. When Psylocke sees him and like telepathically communicates to him like, "Hey, come get me out of this horrible conversation." And they go and sit down and like flirt with each other real hard across the booth while some random redheaded guy is overhearing everything.
I'll tell you what that is. You're not going to like it.
Okay.
That I think that's supposed to be Jean Grey.
Okay.
In
that's
her
fine.
psychic.
Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't look like Jean Grey, but that's Jean Grey in the memory getting ready to ambush.
Because he
and save
turns
Psylocke.
into because in a couple pages you actually see him turn into Jean Grey with the whole outfit on. Okay, that makes a good bit of sense. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little weird though because it just ends up looking like a guy just going.
Two cuties in the club.
Yeah, it ends up coming off a little bit strange.
Yeah.
As she's leaving, Jean Grey in the Black Queen outfit ambushes her basically. Like, hey, you're not actually here. You're just reliving a memory that brings you happiness. The constructs in the memory act normal, and like really interestingly, Psylocke's conception of death, like her version of the Archangel that can live in the psychic prison, in her head is her brother.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you have to reveal. I can help you, Psylocke, if you can reveal to me who the killer is, and she does. It's her brother, who Jean Grey puts in a psychic cage.
Yeah. I like that Rick Remender and Psylocke both hate Captain Britain as much as Days of Future Cast does. Good job, everybody.
They in the Secret Avengers, they really do drag that dude through the fucking mud. Even it wasn't just those 3 issues we're talking about. Like the series is not a big fan of him.
It's crazy. I love it though. Like
they might be going somewhere with it.
Yeah. She kicks Psylocke out, and then Psylocke is going to return to normal. And she's there with Phantom X. We go back to our fight with Archangel, who is attacked by Nightcrawler. Who does his classic, like, gonna teleport to your head and then teleports your head off your body move. But Archangel is expecting it. Those wings have a lot more flexibility than I thought, Gary. They bend right
way
around.
More. Yeah. Stab Kurt in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Jean Grey does the Phoenix Force and comes through and unleashes that on him. And everyone's like, oh shit, this is going to work. Whereas Archangel just shuts it down. Like, the Phoenix won't help you here because the Phoenix wants what I want.
Yeah.
Which is a cool point. Like, Jean Grey doesn't control the Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
This distraction allows Wolverine to grab Archangel, knock him down. He's about to stab him in the face. And Archangel says, do it, Logan, while I'm in control. Kill me. And this was the delay that he needed.
Yeah.
He was faking it. I can't believe that worked. He electrocutes Wolverine.
I also can't believe that worked.
Yeah, it's like he said he was going to kill him. Jeez, Logan. So basically, Archangel's winning.
Mm-hmm.
He kills Sabretooth, Age of Apocalypse Sabretooth here. And he flies up. Like, he's like, I've bested all my foes. He's done it. Flies up.
Yep.
When he gets up to the top, who's waiting but Psylocke in her actual uniform and Phantom X. And this is going to lead us into the finale.
Yep. The Dark Angel Saga concludes. There's also like just an exclusive preview of some bullshit with Cable in this next one. I feel
we
like
read that bullshit.
We
this was
read all that
the
bullshit.
Prelude. Avengers vs. X-Men.
Just skipped right through that this time. No need to do that a second time.
No, it wasn't really good enough to read the first time, but in terms of this time, yeah.
But sometimes we're sometimes we're known as completionists, and then sometimes we are not.
Yeah, we just choose. We get this great cover, this issue with like the Age of Apocalypse X-Men and our X-Force all together in this big, beautiful orange background. Love it. Love the art. Again, Opena MVP here.
Yeah, this looks great. It's beautiful.
And we get Iceman looking for Shiro. He's lost Sunfire there until Sunfire comes out of nowhere and melts him. Like, finds his actual consciousness, which was watching from a building.
Yeah.
The actual Iceman Prime.
Mm-hmm.
So he's found him there. At the place where Genocide was going to do the pop the power out, where Dr. Dark Beast is at and War is at and Deathlock basically logics his way out of his mind control. Murder is nature, life is war. And he says, no, life is the voice of the universe and war is cancer.
Yes.
Love is the true evolution. Again, love is a choice. War is just an instinct. It's intellect over urge. It's better. And basically gets control of himself and kills War. There.
Yep.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. We go back over to the fight between Archangel, who says he is very disappointed in Betsy, And then Phantom X does the surprising tactic of just making it sound like he's banged Psylocke during the time that they've not been talking. And it kind of works. Like he's basically saying like,
He gets in his head.
Phantom X is like, you're angry that she chose me. I know that she hasn't felt real passion by the way that she kissed me. And of course, Archangel is like, I'm above jealousy. I'm Apocalypse. None of this is going to work. But if you want me angry, I will pretend to be angry with you.
Yeah. There's a nice little bit of double meaning. He says like, "Oh, I'm hearing some emotion in your voice, cuckoo bird," saying he's been cucked.
Mm-hmm.
There. Archangel, he stabs Jean-Philippe in the face there. That's our little cut thing. Like he's pissed. We cut over to Dark Beast with War, who's limping, and Famine, going and checking in with little drummer boy and talking to the ship, saying we have to jump away.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying, "Oh, we can't abandon Archangel." He's like, "No, this is the plan. I'm in charge now. What Famine or what Pestilence has here in her belly is more important."
Yes.
Basically, they're going to try again, abandon Archangel and take this new child of Apocalypse.
Phantom X, realizing that like this has come to a head, and he's in his height of desperation, calls for Automaton to let him out, referring to what we know as the baby Apocalypse. But nobody else is going to know that for a while. Meanwhile, Archangel and Psylocke are fighting. He's basically saying that she doesn't even mean anything to Warren Worthington, and she's, of course, like disputing that. Like, no, I mean, I am more than you could ever know. And she's able to like knock him over with a psychic blast, and she picks up the seed. But before she can actually stab him, and she's like kind of broken at this point, right? Like she's like talking herself into stabbing this dude, this man that she loves, with this death seed. But before she can actually do it, she gets knocked off the platform.
We go into the mind realm where baby Apocalypse is being raised like Superman.
Yeah,
like by two farmers.
This is very funny to me.
This is great. I love the needle point that says "God bless the Sabaners." And he's in this thing. He shows up in overalls. Phantom X shows up in overalls as a character known Uncle Cluster. Like, listen, you knew this was going to happen. We've been preparing you for something. Now you have to leave. And his idyllic childhood, he was being raised with the values of X-Men. He's got an X-Men jacket. This was Phantom X's thing the whole time. He got everyone to think he killed Apocalypse, but he took him and is like, what happens if we raise him with values?
Yes.
Thus creating this character.
An interesting concept, like really, really cool. Like this is an idea
nature versus nurture.
Yeah. That I feel like, is really unique for the X-Men to explore. Like this is uniquely X-Men stuff, I guess is what I mean to say.
Yep. Yeah. They've done similar things with Magneto. Like when Magneto was raised as a baby, when he got turned into a baby. And they raised Magneto upright, then that backfired pretty bad.
I mean, let's face it, it always does.
Yeah, baby Magnetos never work out.
Yeah,
mamas don't let your babies grow up to be Magneto. Warren Worthington is going to go finish this off when the seed that's being generated, like the power generator thing that Genocide was hooked up to, Sunfire's up there absorbing all the energy.
Yes,
from it. And he's about to go stop him when Genesis, the good Apocalypse, slams him in the back. And they go into this room here with these statues.
Tell me more.
Yes. About Dr. Mind Bubble and the Skinless Man.
I need to know more about
I am
the
so in the pocket for Dr. Mind Bubble.
This dude with the weird, like, what is coming off of his glasses or his hat? Like he's got a bubble coming out of his hat, and it's fucking incredible.
He's got a steampunk eyepiece. He looks like the Riddler, but like with a steampunk eyepiece. And then the Skinless Man is like a barrister, like wearing barrister robes, but he's nude.
Tell me more.
Under it, and he's just standing with his hands on his hips, like big swinging skinless cock. Like they sculpted that.
So good, dude.
Yeah, dude. Like Clan Akaba's nuts.
I want to know more. And this is definitely one of those situations where if they actually gave me more, I would not want it. Like I don't think that they could land this at all. But I mean, just having this evocative idea is so good. And
it makes me wonder if there are things that were ever showed up in any other Rick Remender stuff, because he's done stuff with the Apocalypse twins and with like Baby Apocalypse. He's done other comics. So as I kind of do my Remender journey through this, I will report if Dr. Mind Bubble and the Skinless Man show up, and whoever this lady is on the right who you can't read the something.
Well,
here.
good news about Dr. Mind Bubble. I have good news.
Okay.
Wow, his first appearance was in a Captain America comic. That's so weird.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
He was
I'm on my way.
He was a funded scientist of the Weapon Minus program.
Weapon Minus? Yay. I gotta go.
That S.H.I.E.L.D. ran in the, what is the Weapon Minus? Oh God, I love just getting into just a weird, just the dumbest thing ever, man.
Oh, this is the Rick Remender Captain America run, apparently.
I kind of figured
which
that it would
I
be.
didn't even know. I'm gonna have to read that shit.
Oh man, this is so good.
Put this in my veins, dude. Like I am wholly Remender pilled. This cover with Dr. Mind Bubble blowing bubbles out of his eye pipe with Avengers in it. Yay.
Oh man. This caused all of his dream bubbles to stay in his head and he went crazy. He lunged himself out of a window and plummeted to his death.
No, Dr. Mind Bubble.
Oh man. The only way he can escape this
in.
reality is to commit a virtual suicide inside the false life generated by the bubble. This is insane. He can generate an apparent unlimited number of bubbles that capture his enemy's mind, generating a virtual reality where the stricken lives his greatest dreams. Oh, Horace Littleton, aka Dr. Mind Bubble. Where have you been all of my life? So good.
It.
Why is there a statue of this guy? Why is he Apocalypse Land? I can't find it.
I don't know why. That's the good question. That's what I got to find out. We have Genesis here fighting Apocalypse, fighting Archangel Apocalypse. You know, he's like, boy, you're not Apocalypse. He's like, no, I'm Genesis. Zaps him with his beams. We don't really know very much about him yet.
Mm-hmm.
Just him showing up is going to be the thing here. But he was raised to be a hero, so he's doing hero dialogue.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds evil. I'm a hero. I'll stop you. Like I was raised to be a hero.
Yeah. Pretty simple, like, morality scale, but like, what else are you going to do when you're raising Kid Apocalypse, right? Like you want to make sure all of that power is on the good side. Eventually Warren gets him in the hands and like shocks him absolutely to death. And this is what it distracts him long enough for Psylocke, who is just openly weeping and bloody, to stab him in the stomach with the death seed.
Life seed,
excuse me. And this, of course, like resets Archangel, and beams start shooting out. And this is when Ultimaton manages to get up to Sunfire, who's been like holding back all of Genocide's flames. So this whole place at this point is going to explode. Sunfire like sacrifices himself to spread these flames out so they don't go into the earth.
I like this little bit of Phantom X being like, you have to save him. He can't die for a world that's not even his.
Yeah.
You know, like the X-Men, the Age of Apocalypse X-Men are still heroes.
Yeah, really good stuff.
And then one of my favorite things, like in comics I've read in a long time, Archangel's dying. You know, and he's back to Warren Worthington. Psylocke's talking to him, and she said, "I'm not going to let you die. Just close your eyes." And she gives him a life. The art style changes. I don't love the new art in this very much, but I think it's really like a cool idea.
Yeah,
like she's in the psychic realm, giving him like an idyllic ending.
Yeah, basically,
you know, so we get to see her and him married, and have kids and grow old together.
You know, not to like put any real world like trauma stuff in comic books or anything, but this is obviously happening because he is dying and he wants her and she wants him to like have this experience, to have these memories, to give him something to die with, right? To give him some sort of happiness before he's gone forever. I can't, and I don't remember if the comic book explores this. I can't imagine her coming out of this like any less traumatized than he would have been, right? Like, I feel like she's living this at the same time, and at the end of this, like, all of these years are going to go right back to where she was, and she just has all of these memories now. Like, even if they're like sketches, all of those feelings and stuff would still be there. So this has got to be absolutely devastating to like have memories of your non-existent daughter is growing up and getting married, and then, you know, Warren apparently dying from cancer, which is a weird thing, but sure. Yeah. And just like, and it's incredibly sweet and it's very touching. And, you know, as somebody who's gone through some like family issues lately, like it really hit me kind of out of nowhere today. This whole section did, like, it's really powerful. And I really hope they explore a little bit of what this is going to do to Psylocke.
I really love it as a like an act of love, like an act of really, really intense kindness.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know, Warren Worthington is not blameless in this. He's not, but he's not entirely to blame either. He wasn't just deciding to be evil one day. This is still all a product of something that happened to him because he was being a hero, because he was trying to save people in the mutant massacre. He doesn't deserve this. He doesn't deserve to get stabbed with a life seed and die in the top of Alaska because he was taken over by an evil force. So this is Psylocke's way of giving him what he deserves anyway.
Yeah.
At great cost to herself. There's a really good Star Trek The Next Generation episode that's real similar to this, where Picard lives an entire life, like as kind of like an alien trap or alien virus or something in his mind. And when he comes back from it, he really struggles from it, because he had all these real memories. Like he had all the traumas and triumphs, and figuring out it's all real does not really help.
This is also like one of the things about that we talk a lot about with X-Men is like wanting them to use their powers in creative ways, right? And like this is a little bit of an easy thing with being psychic, but this is something that, hey, this is her not, she doesn't have a ninja blade at the time, right? Like I like seeing these expressions of powers that aren't necessarily like directly offensive or directly defensive. Like they're just creative uses of their powers to provide, a sense of comfort to her teammates and to the love of her life, apparently.
Yeah, she's not just like, blasting.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is usually what happens, blasting and slicing with big titties. It's more mature.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful. It's a beautiful little sequence, and I think it's a really great ending for this arc.
Yeah, absolutely. Phantom X wakes her up, throws her into Eva. They got to get the fuck out of there.
Yep.
I think Deathlock is inside Eva along with the Kid Apocalypse, so that's good. Oh no, I'm sorry.
Deathlock went out and gathered Wade. He grabbed all the pieces of him, put them in a bag.
What is this weird robot face in Eva? Oh, that's is that Automaton?
That's Automaton.
Automaton?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the one who grabbed Kid Apocalypse.
Gotcha. They swoop down and realize that like basically all of the Age of Apocalypse people are dead. Like none of them survived.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer, but also like we don't need any more versions of Jean Grey running around. So
no, it'd be hard on Wolverine. They're gonna pick up Psylocke when she sees Archangel nude with his angel wings walking through, runs up and kisses him, and then he as their Age of Apocalypse, as the Aqaba thing is blowing up in the background, he says, "Who are you?"
Uh-oh.
He has lost his memory, and that's the end of the issue.
And that's the end of the arc of like what happened to the Age of Archangel. This is really good. Like having Ward Worthington reset is going to be a big thing going forward. Like we've talked a little bit about like Weirdo Angel, and this is obviously the source of some of that. It's really good. I keep mentioning the arc where they bring back the teens, which happens like in a couple of years now, I think. And just having young Archangel being like, who are you? Why am I
Hold
like
up.
this?
Yeah.
It's really, it's very entertaining. And I'm looking forward to getting there someday for the podcast. I think that would be a fun little arc to cover. Maybe not that whole series or anything, but what a great arc this is, Gary. Like this is so good.
It's really good. It's really beautiful. I love that the next issue, which I'd read this before, is just them dealing with the consequences of this, which is kind of a lost art in comics. Like during the golden age of X-Men, they always did that. They would do like a recovery debrief issue after every major thing happened. And this was all like a real big fucking deal. The formation of this team almost led to the end of the world. That is a huge deal. And we're going to get a shakeup of the team, all part of this Regenesis line-wide thing.
Yeah.
But we're about like a little less than halfway, or a little bit more than halfway through this Uncanny X-Force run.
Really good.
So we still have some storylines to go through.
Yeah. I'm very excited
I'm enjoying it.
Keep with this. It's a super fun run all the way through.
Yeah. I love it. If you love it, or if you love us, go to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv. And throw us some money. You get a bunch of bonus shows. You can dictate what me and Cole play on Watch Out for Fireballs or Abject Suffering. We have some Patreon changes coming that are exciting. Nothing's being taken away. It's all good stuff. Coming pretty soon. And yeah, we'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fun time. You should come hang out with all of us and listen to all of us talk in your ear. Thank you very much for listening to the show. If you can't do Patreon stuff, we totally understand. But ratings and reviews help the podcast out. And then most importantly, just tell your friends about it. I've gotten a lot of good feedback about telling people to put my podcast, on their cousins' phones at family reunions. People have been doing that. I've gotten some really good feedback. The numbers have been boosted. Please continue to do that.
Yep.
If you see your family members, hey, let me get your phone and just go to Spotify, add it. They'll never notice. It'll be great. It'll be perfect.
Cousins are our primary target demographic.
This is what we're going for in 2020.
If you're not somebody's cousin, we don't.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
And if you just want to, listen to previous episodes, go to huntingcousins.com.
It's cousin season.
It's cousin season. I've got a full clip.
Yeah.